And he said, "Sesame, open yourself." And the stone split to reveal a remote hangar door opener. Hey, all you internet people, have I got something fun for you today? My fellow space engineers players should recognize the significance of this very simple little trick. So let's show you what I've come up with, shall we? As you can see here, I was able to open this door without leaving my cockpit or going through any annoying menus. You probably also noticed that I locked onto something. That something was just a small grid cockpit with a connector and a battery on the bottom. Here you'll notice me activating an AI defense block. This is an alternate method which I will explain more later. However, if you're paying attention, you'll notice that the doors start to close as soon as I am out. Remember that for later. So, how this is set up: when you lock onto the small grid, the connector locks itself down, which activates an event controller on my base here. Let's go inside and I'll show you how it works. Just ignore my amateur flying and parking job here. Oh, come on, just grab me already. There we go, got it. Give you a good look at my crappy thrown together tester vehicle here. Oops, I forgot about that thing. It had this weird glitch where the voxels that were carved out for this base, the armory map, just spawned back in out of nowhere and destroyed all my small grids. But apparently it just detached that one. Anyway, let's move on to the receiver here so I can show you the settings. The settings on this cockpit don't really matter. I just left them as default. What does matter is the Setup Actions button here. When we click on it, you'll see they are set to connect the connector in the first slot and disconnect in the second. It needs to be this way so the small grid can be locked onto as a separate grid. Technically, you don't need to use a cockpit though, as several of the AI blocks and the remote controller block also have this feature. Anyway, we'll move on to the connector. I found it to be very helpful to turn the magnetism up all the way on both connectors, as this will hold your receiver in place if you bump into it or anything, and keep it from flopping around. Next up, the event controller. Set it to open the doors when the connector is connected and close them when it's not. It really is that simple. Now, I said we'd talk more about the defensive AI block on my small tester ship here, but I'll be honest, I forgot about this part while recording the video, so you get to admire my POS here as I explain. If you set a defensive AI to respond to enemies and neutrals, and then give it to nobody or any other neutral faction, it will lock on to the nearest, by center of mass, grid with power. However, as you may have noticed, it requires line of sight to remain locked on, so when I leave the hangar, the door automatically closes behind me. This is more useful with a button and an immobile grid. Anyway, I'll be signing off now. I have a few more ideas for this feature and some other builds I could show off. Let me know if you're interested in seeing more from me.